So over the weekend, 49ers wide receiver Ricky Pearsall was shot when he reacted in self-defense to an attempted robbery. And while we did get an update today that he's going to miss some time, he actually didn't suffer any major injuries. So we've got to talk about that. Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting placed on the reserve/NFI list, Michael Thomas getting suspended, and much more right after. All right, first up, and probably the biggest news of the weekend by a landslide, 49ers first-round draft pick wide receiver Ricky Pearsall was shot in San Francisco during an attempted robbery. He spent a little bit of time in the hospital, at first being listed as in serious but stable condition after a bullet went cleanly through his chest, thankfully without hitting any vital organs. Here's what we know at this point in time. Pearsall was signing autographs at an event center earlier in the afternoon and was making his way to Union Square, and that's when the attempted robbery took place. The San Francisco Police Department released a statement saying that somebody tried to rob Pearsall and a physical altercation ensued, with both the suspect and the victim getting injured. I think the suspect got shot in the arm initially. Some were saying Pearsall got shot in the arm, but as you can see from this video, he was definitely shot in the chest, and also the suspect was arrested almost immediately after this took place and taken into custody as he tried to flee the scene. You can see this video here again of Ricky walking on his own power and eventually being loaded into the back of an ambulance. There's the chest shot that you can see. Later that evening, the 49ers then posted a statement saying Ricky Pearsall was the victim of an attempted robbery and shooting this afternoon. He sustained a bullet wound to his chest and is in serious but stable condition. Then yesterday, Ricky's mother said that the bullet exited out of her son's back and missed his vital organs, which is great news. She said he was extremely lucky. Whether you say lucky, fortunate, blessed, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter, but it's truly incredible that this man was shot through the chest and somehow didn't have a single vital organ hit. I don't think there's a lot up there, but still, no major arteries or anything like that. You love to see it. Then yesterday afternoon, the 49ers released another update saying that Ricky was released from the hospital as he continues to recover from a bullet wound to his chest. So that is some definite positive news here on the situation. The bullet missed anything major, and he's already been released from the hospital. As for the suspect, well, he was a 17-year-old male from Tracy, California, according to the San Francisco Police Chief, William Scott. He also said there was no indication that the suspect targeted Ricky because he was a football player. He believes the suspect was also acting alone, but said that there were many surveillance cameras in the area that would be checked as the investigation continues. I'm not going to lie here, that's just freaking sad. Some of the shooters at the Chiefs Super Bowl rally were also under the age of 18. And when this keeps happening, under the age of 18, I'm just over here like, where the heck are your parents? The world is crazy out there, so please be safe. Ricky is a freaking legend for fighting back to prevent the robbery, and in the process, the 17-year-old ended up getting caught by the police when trying to flee the scene. Yeah, he took a shot to the chest to do it, but man, I might need to buy myself a Ricky Pearsall jersey after that one. So, for now, that's all we know, but I will definitely keep you guys updated if anything else comes from this investigation. The most important thing is that it sounds like Ricky is well on his way to making a full recovery, and while I have no idea what his timeline looks like as far as returning to the field, I think it goes without saying that he'll at least be out for the 49ers Week 1 game against the Jets next Monday. And actually, the 49ers did opt to move Pearsall to the reserve/non-football injury list after all, which makes him ineligible for the first 4 games of the season. This update came later today from Adam Schefter. And honestly, this does make sense. You can give him time to truly heal up because while no major damage was done, clean shot through and through, he was shot after all and will definitely need time for his body to heal up before he's back and ready for full contact at the NFL level. But hey, let me know your thoughts on this crazy situation in the comments. And since we're talking about the injured reserve list, the Chiefs just placed running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the reserve/non-football illness list, which means he'll be out for the first 4 games at least of the season. Clyde had missed a major portion of training camp, well over half, as he's been battling PTSD, which he revealed has been an ongoing struggle for him going back to 2018 when he was still in college at LSU. Clyde and a teammate were trying to sell an electronic item when an 18-year-old male attempted to rob them. He basically got in their truck in the back seat, pulled a gun on them. Then I believe Clyde's teammate fatally shot the would-be robber in self-defense in the vehicle. So yeah, very understandable that something like this would stick with you and be difficult to process. Then the Super Bowl rally parade shooting probably flared some of that up. On top of that, Clyde has been battling a neurological issue called cyclic vomiting syndrome that sends him into random vomiting spells and usually requires him to go to the ER and get IVs for hydration. Anyway, after being placed on the reserve list today, Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy spoke to the media saying, "Clyde is such a special person. He's a great human being. I think, number one, everyone in this building wants to make sure that Clyde is good on that side. The other stuff all takes care of itself. So I wish Clyde all the best as he takes care of himself and his mental health." As far as the Chiefs go, I think they may have seen this coming, at least in regards to Clyde, and that's exactly why they went out and signed former Broncos running back Samaje Perine last week. I imagine he'll be leaned on pretty heavily behind Pacheco and maybe even the undrafted rookie Carson Steele, at least for week one, since Perine just kind of got there. But we will see what happens this Thursday. And yes, that means football is back. Just 3 more days. Let's go. Now, in some quick hitter news that happened over the weekend, the New York Giants signed cornerback Adoree Jackson to a 1-year deal. He actually spent the last 3 seasons with the Giants, but missed 14 games during that span due to injury. Because of that, some weren't sure he'd be back this year after his previous 3-year contract expired, but sure enough, the 29-year-old corner is back with the G-Men in New York. Next, former Saints receiver Michael Thomas received a 1-game suspension due to a, quote, violation of NFL rules, stemming back to his arrest last November when he was charged with simple battery and criminal mischief, both of which are misdemeanors. He got into an altercation, from what I understand, with a construction worker who was working on a home in his neighborhood, and basically Thomas reportedly threw a brick at the guy's car, knocked the guy's phone out of his hands, and shoved him. So that was last year, and Thomas finished out the season appearing in 10 games, which was the most amount of games he's played since 2019 when he won Offensive Player of the Year and broke the record for the most receptions in a season. He's had quite the fall of grace since, going from one of the best receivers in the game to being released by the Saints after appearing in just 20 games over the last 4 years and missing the entire 2021 season after he had a setback while rehabbing an ankle injury. He's now 31 years old with a litany of injuries, so who knows if any team will take a flyer on him, but if they do, it's not going to be week 1 because he is suspended. Let's talk about another receiver, though, one who is very far from his prime, very much in his prime, because JaMarr Chase was spotted at practice today in street clothes. Again, not practicing as he continues his hold-in. I talked about this more in Friday's video, but basically JaMarr is seeking a new deal, so he's been showing up to practice, but not participating. He finally practiced last Sunday. Then Bengals coach Zach Taylor said he expects JaMarr to keep practicing and play week 1, to which I presume JaMarr's representation did not appreciate, and so JaMarr showed up the next practice once again in street clothes. Taylor then said he probably put his foot in his mouth, talking too soon. He definitely sang a different tune today after practice as well, saying, "We'll just take it day by day." So that's currently where things are at. Reports did surface over the weekend, though, that JaMarr is trying to become the highest paid receiver in the NFL, and Ian Rappaport said he wants $140 million and 1 penny. Yes, 1 penny, because that 1 penny would put him over Justin Jefferson as the highest paid receiver, and the two of them are good friends going back to their time at LSU, so there's a little bit of a friendly rivalry in place there as far as who's going to be the highest paid receiver. Extremely petty, but honestly pretty funny. So that's all for today, and with that, I'll see y'all next time.
Don't break the huddle, huddle, huddle.